Hello and welcome to another episode of Hale Explains. I am Dr. Hale, and tonight I am answering the question, could humanity survive a nuclear war? For decades, nuclear weapons have existed quietly in the background of global politics. They are rarely discussed in daily conversation, yet they possess the power to reshape civilization in a matter of hours. If a nuclear war were to begin tomorrow, what would actually happen? Would it mean the end of humanity? Or would the consequences be catastrophic, yet survivable? To answer that, we need to look at three layers of impact. First, the immediate destruction. Second, the global environmental and economic consequences. And finally, the long-term survival question. Let's begin with the immediate explosion. When a nuclear weapon detonates, its power is measured in kilotons or megatons of TNT equivalent. The atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945 had a yield of roughly 15 kilotons. Many modern nuclear warheads are significantly more powerful. Strategic warheads today often range between 100 and 800 kilotons, and during the Cold War, some exceeded 1 megaton. A 300 kiloton detonation could produce a fireball approaching 1 kilometer in diameter. This could destroy buildings within several kilometers of the blast center. The shock wave would travel faster than the speed of sound, flattening structures and causing widespread injury from debris. The thermal radiation would ignite fires and cause severe burns at distances far beyond the blast radius. In addition, prompt ionizing radiation would damage living cells within seconds, increasing the risk of radiation sickness and long-term cancer in living creatures. But the explosion itself is only the beginning. After the blast, radioactive particles rise into the atmosphere and eventually fall back to Earth as fallout. These particles contaminate soil, water supplies, and infrastructure. Exposure to high doses over a short period can lead to acute radiation syndrome, which affects bone marrow, the immune system, and internal organs. The severity of fallout depends heavily on weather conditions, wind direction, and the type of weapon used. Areas far from the original detonation site can still experience dangerous contamination. In a limited nuclear exchange involving perhaps 50 to 100 warheads, casualties could still reach into the millions. Entire cities could be lost. Medical systems would collapse under the strain, but even then, humanity as a species would not disappear. The deeper danger emerges if the exchange becomes global. Today, there are approximately 12,000 nuclear warheads worldwide. The United States and Russia hold the majority, while several other nations maintain smaller arsenals. Not all of these weapons are deployed, but even a fraction would represent destruction on a scale never seen before. If several thousand warheads were detonated over major cities and industrial regions, the destruction would extend far beyond national borders. And this is where the concept of nuclear winter becomes critical. Large-scale nuclear detonations over cities would ignite massive firestorms. These firestorms could send enormous quantities of soot into the upper atmosphere. Some climate models estimate that between 5 and 150 million tons of soot could reach the stratosphere in a large exchange. Unlike smoke in the lower atmosphere, stratospheric soot can remain suspended for years. Without rainfall to wash it out, it would spread globally and block incoming sunlight. The result would likely be a sharp drop in global temperatures. Some models suggest that average global temperatures could fall by several degrees Celsius. In severe scenarios, certain regions could experience cooling of more than 10 degrees. Growing seasons would shorten dramatically. Crop yields could decline across multiple continents. Even a regional conflict involving around 100 nuclear weapons has been modeled to reduce global agricultural production significantly. In such a scenario, famine could become the greatest killer. Billions of people depend on stable food systems that require predictable climate conditions. Modern civilization is built on interconnected systems. Electricity grids power water treatment facilities. Global shipping moves food and medicine. Financial networks coordinate trade between continents. A large nuclear war would not only destroy cities, it would disrupt the systems that sustain everyday life. Ports could close. Air travel could halt. Fuel shortages could spread rapidly. Many urban centers only maintain a few days' worth of food reserves. Without reliable supply chains, even regions untouched by direct blasts could experience severe shortages. Recovery would not only involve rebuilding infrastructure, it would require rebuilding trust, coordination, and international stability. Despite the scale of destruction, most experts agree that nuclear war would be unlikely to cause total human extinction. Human populations are widely distributed across the globe. Many rural areas would avoid direct strikes. Parts of the southern hemisphere would likely experience fewer detonations. Some agricultural capacity would remain. Human beings have survived ice ages, pandemics, and global wars. Survival is probable. But survival does not mean stability. The world that emerged afterward could look very different. Technological capacity could decline. Political systems could fracture. Some regions might stabilize quickly, others could struggle for decades. The question is not whether humanity survives, it is what kind of civilization remains. So why has it not happened yet? Since 1945, nuclear weapons have not been used in war again. This restraint is often attributed to deterrence theory. If two nuclear-armed nations launch attacks, both would suffer devastating retaliation. Because neither side can truly win, the incentive to strike first is reduced. This concept, known as mutually assured destruction, has shaped global strategy for decades. It is a fragile balance, but it has prevented large-scale nuclear conflicts so far. So, could humanity survive a nuclear war? Yes, most likely. Devastation would be large. Many lives would be lost and entire cities would have to be rebuilt. Survival would not mean a quick return to normal life. It could mean years of climate disruption, economic instability, and global restructuring. The greatest threat may not be immediate annihilation, but long-term disruption. Understanding this is not about fear, it is about perspective. The modern world is both resilient and fragile. Nuclear weapons reveal both truths at once. This has been Hale Explains. Examining the world, one question at a time. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more answers to curious questions.